Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is Thursday, March 6th, and we are still continuing with every morning providing some encouragement to you today. So, today's encouragement, I'm coming to you about three things that you might need in your life right now in order to be successful. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just look at nature for a quick second, look at a tree, look at the plants that we're growing in our house, and we're thinking, okay, what do these plants need in order to grow, in order to thrive? So Shiloh the other day, we've got this room in our, we've got this plant in our bedroom, and every day she goes and she gets this bottle of Poland spring water and she like pours it on it. And she puts it into the dirt and it drinks it up. And I'm trying to teach her about what causes this plant to grow. And we know that for plants, they need three things, right? They need sunlight, and they need the earth, and they need water in order to grow. And I've been teaching her about that. We watch this little plant and it grows and grows, and now it's like spilling over, and it's all it's in Molly and I's room, and it's like pouring over this huge pot. And so it's really cool to see this. And today I was thinking about what do people need in order to grow in their lives. And so I actually pulled up three things that we all feel like we need in our lives in order to grow successfully, right? And yesterday I talked about what it takes to be successful. In order to be successful, I need to just set a plan and I need to fulfill the plan. Well, what do I need that's along the way? What's inside of that plan? Like what kind of characteristics need to show up in order to do it? So I know it kind of sounds weird, but some of you guys know my faith. Maybe not weird, but it's just it's my faith. And so I saw Psalm 1 today, and Psalm 1 says, blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, but sits in the company of mockers. But their delight is in the law of the Lord, and they meditate on his law or his ways day and night. That person, ready for this, is like a tree planted by streams of water. So they're by streams of water, so it means that they're constantly being supplied, and they'll yield their fruit in their season, meaning like they might have their leaves out, they might be always receptive, it might not be happening, but when at time's right, when they're doing what they need to be doing, then they'll produce fruit in their season. Their leaf does not wither, and whatever they do prospers. And I thought to myself, okay, so how does that apply in order, for me in business or my company or, the people who we're coaching or whatever it is? And so I got a couple of, principles that I want to say. Number one, if we want to be successful and we want to be, in this place of growth all the time, we need to be planted. And being planted means I'm not moving. I'm convicted. This is where I need to be right now. This is the place that I'm going to be fed. This is the place where I want to grow. This is the one place I want to be established. That I'm not going to get distracted by shiny object syndrome. I'm not going to be bouncing over here and bouncing over here. This is something that I need to do. Oh, wait a second. No, actually someone's successful over there. Maybe I need to be planted over there. So you get up and you go over there. And what ends up happening is it's like if a farmer went out and he planted a seed, and then the very next day he like looked into the dirt and he was like, oh, did it grow? It's like, oh, it didn't grow. Well, maybe I need to go and be planted somewhere else. Maybe I'm going to be better over there. And you see this so often with people. I mean, in the real estate business, there's so, oh man, I'm going to go to this brokerage, then I'm going to go to this brokerage, and I'm going to go to this brokerage. It's like, that's not what's causing you to be successful. You need to be in some place at a certain time. I'm going to be planted here for a bit, and I need to know that I've got the other three things around me. That's also important to know. If I have sunlight, earth, and water for my plants, okay, that's good, but I need all three. If I don't have one of those, something's going to be going wrong. And that's what I need to make sure I've got in my business. And so we need to be planted. We need to make sure that we're not going anywhere. I'm focused in. The second thing we need to know is that I'm being supplied. So I've always got something that's flowing. So in that verse that I read, they're by the rivers of water. So, they're constantly supplied by support or advice or mentorship or guidance, or, they're being fed for themselves. It's not just like they're not in a place where they're always, having to, give, or they're not being fed themselves, but they need to be fed as well. So you need to be supplied. So wherever you're at, if you want to be in a place of growth, you need to stay like, I'm here, I'm focused, and then I'm supplied. So I'm also being fed for myself. And if you're not, you're going to have a problem. You could be planted and I'm not moving here, but if you're not being supplied, if you're not being fed, then you won't grow. So you got to have all three. And then the last one is you have to be receptive. So being receptive means for ourselves that, if I'm the tree and I've got, my leaves out and they're constantly pointed towards the sky, it might not be time to bear fruit right now. It might not be my season in order to do that, but I'm constantly receptive, and I'm always, receiving that sunlight, and I'm always there. And I see that of great real estate agents, of great business partners. They're constantly receptive. They're always humble. They're always ready to learn. Those people, no matter how big they get or how successful they get, they're like, oh, that's a different way, that's an interesting way of looking at that. Or, you know what, I'm always ready to, listen to a new thing here. I don't need to change my whole business or get uprooted and get, whatever, but they're ready to listen. And I see that differently from other people who are like, no, I'm stuck in my ways. I'm always going to do it this way. I'm never going to change. And those people are not the ones who I see really growing. Those are the ones who are like, nope, I've always done it this way, and that's the way it is. And so they're not super receptive, so they're not always growing. So the receptive person is humble and they're ready to learn. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. 3 things, sunlight, earth, and water for plants, but for us, being planted, being supplied, and being receptive. Hope this is helpful for you guys, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
If this video has been of value to you, then go ahead and click that subscribe button, especially if you're looking for more content as a team leader to grow a profitable team or as a real estate agent just to get started in your business with top tips. Thanks so much for watching.